being here online. Hopefully this will not be a fact of life for us for a long time. I will start with the call to order for the commissioners. If you're present, please say so. If you're not, keep quiet. Miss Allen?
Present.
Mr. Franks?
Present.
Mr. Harrison? Absent. Mr. Lindsay?
Present.
Miss McLemore?
Present.
Ooh, that was loud. Michael Orr?
Present.
Miss Peterson?
Present.
Miss Szilagyi?
Present.
And the chair is present as well. So item number 1 is consideration of resolution 2020-128, a resolution declaring that the Franklin Municipal Planning Commission meeting shall meet on July 23rd, 2020, and conduct its essential business by electronic means rather than being required to gather a quorum of the members physically present in the same location, because it's necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of Tennesseans in light of the COVID-19 outbreak. Anyone wishing to speak on this item from the public? Any public comments? No? Okay. Then do I have a motion?
I move to accept the resolution.
Second.
Okay. Then we'll go down through the list. Miss Allen?
Aye.
Mr. Franks?
Aye.
Okay. Mr. Harrison is absent. Mr. Lindsay?
Aye.
Miss McLemore?
Aye.
Mr. Orr?
Aye.
Miss Peterson?
Aye.
Miss Szilagyi?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Announcement for limited access. Municipal Planning Commission meeting in the City of Franklin will limit physical access in the meeting room due to current limitations on public gatherings to prevent the further spread of COVID-19 and to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the City of Franklin officials, staff, and citizens. Accommodations have been made to ensure that the public is able to participate in the meeting. The public may participate in the following ways: watch the meeting on Franklin TV or the City of Franklin website, watch a live stream through the City of Franklin Facebook or YouTube accounts, call in to the conference meeting at 312-626-6799. Again, 312-626-6799. The meeting ID is 991-9500-9639. And the password is 568074. Again, password 568074. Email comments were accepted until 5 p.m. yesterday. These email comments have been provided in full to the commission and included in the minutes, but will not be read aloud in their entirety during the meeting. Limited viewing is available in the lobby of City Hall. To watch the live video, face masks will be required. Okay, now we'll consider the minutes from our June meeting. Do I have a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, Michael will be the motion made, and the second will be Miss Peterson. Is there any comments? All right, seeing none, then we'll go through the roll call vote. Miss Allen?
Aye.
Mr. Franks?
Aye.
Mr. Harrison is absent. Mr. Lindsay?
Aye.
Miss McLemore?
Aye.
Mr. Orr?
Aye.
Miss Peterson?
Aye.
Miss Szilagyi?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening on online or whatever, then this is a point where we open the floor for citizen comments for items that are not on tonight's agenda. We'll open the floor for those discussions or comments.
We don't have anyone called in right now.
Okay, then we will move on to announcements. Staff, any announcements? That's a yes.
Do have a couple of announcements. First of all, just want to let you all know, planning commissioners, that we are sad to say goodbye to one of our planners this week. Diana Tomlin has accepted a new position in Nolensville and will be leaving us this week. I know she's been a wonderful addition to our staff, and we hate to lose her, but we wish her well as she moves on to her next position. So I just wanted to let you all know, in case she has been a project contact. So, reach out to Amy or Joey or myself instead, and just wanted to let you all know where she'd be going next. So that's one announcement, and Diana, we will miss you. The other announcement is just I wanted to let you know that the virtual meetings will continue in August. The governor's executive order does continue until the next planning commission meeting date. So we will be doing another virtual meeting for the August planning commission meeting. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Diana, congratulations and best of luck in your next job opportunity. Now the item for consideration is any items that are not on our tonight's agenda that would be desired to be considered by applicants. Staff, do you know of any items that are being requested to be added to the agenda? No? Okay. All right, then we'll move on to item number 3, which is consideration of the consent agenda. Currently, that is items 4, 12 through 16, 4 and 12 through 16. Anyone want to consider or pull an item off the agenda, staff, commission, or public? Okay, the silence means I'm guessing we don't, so we'll consider this consent agenda. Is there a motion for the consent agenda as proposed?
So approved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Frank's motion and Ms. Allen seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mrs. Allen?
Aye.
Mr. Franks?
Aye.
Mr. Harrison's absent. Mr. Lindsay?
Aye.
Ms. McLemore?
Aye.
Mr. Orr?
Aye.
Ms. Peterson?
Aye.
Ms. Szilagyi?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Okay, item number 5. This is consideration of resolution 2020-116, a resolution adopting a plan of services for the annexation of several properties located south of Long Lane, east of Interstate 65, outside of the southeastern part of the Franklin urban growth boundary by the city of Franklin, Tennessee. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, commissioners. The city has received annexation requests for 9 properties in the Goose Creek Basin that are located outside of the Franklin urban growth boundary. In order for these properties to be annexed, a referendum amongst the property owners to be annexed must be held pursuant to TCA code. The referendum was discussed at the April 28th BOMA work session. The board and aldermen will vote on September 8th this year at a public hearing on whether to request a referendum for annexation of the properties. Should the referendum occur, the election is proposed to be held on November 3rd in conjunction with the state general election. This is a City of Franklin drafted plan of services for the 9 properties being considered as part of the annexation. The plan of services outlines how infrastructure will need to be provided to serve the 9 properties and the approximately 340 acres should the board of mayor and aldermen decide to hold referendum and should it pass. The plan of services is drafted to be contingent upon the certification of the election for annexation and take effect 30 days after the certification of the election to line up with the effective date of the annexation. Water is located within the Mill Crofton Utility District. Water availability, adequate fire flow, and pressure must be approved prior to development on any of the parcels. The extension of reclaimed water infrastructure will be required to be extended to serve any property pending jurisdiction of this area for reclaimed water. The property is within the Goose Creek and Mays Creek sewer basins. The owner of each property shall be required to extend the sanitary sewer mains and interceptors necessary to provide service to their property. These mains and interceptors shall be sized accordingly to the expected demands of development in these basins as determined by a sanitary sewer study. Access to the property shall be provided from various existing roadways within the region. As properties develop, road improvements and road extensions shall be required in accordance with Connect Franklin. No additional manpower or equipment will be necessary for either fire or police protection. Since the parcels lie outside of the UGB, the Planning Commission will need to amend Envision Franklin to include these parcels in the document, including assigning them appropriate design concepts after full annexation. So staff recommends approval of Resolution 2020-116, Plan of Services, to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Joey. Let's see, is there any public comment for this item?
We don't have any callers on the line.
Okay, thank you. Is there someone presenting is there a presentation by the applicant? Or have we already done that?
Hi, my name is Greg Gamble, and I filed the applications for these residents, but I don't have a presentation.
Okay, all right,
Happy to
thank
answer
you.
any questions that you may have.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second. Alma.
Yep. Motion made by Mr. Franks and seconded by Ms. McLemore. All right, any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
so these are 9 separate applicants, I guess, are they not? Is this a case where they will individually be responsible for their share of the cost of the services that we're talking about in this item?
So the application was filed as one joint application by all 9 property owners. At the time a development plan is submitted, that will be evaluated since most of the plan of service addresses extension of utilities at the time a development is moving forward through the approval process and once it's approved.
Okay, any other comments?
I just want to say thank you for that archive map that was included along with everything else. It really did help whenever you're looking overall at everything. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, any other comments or questions? All right, Miss Allen,
Aye.
Mr. Franks,
Aye.
Mr. Harrison is absent. Mr. Lindsay,
Aye.
Miss McLemore,
Aye.
Mr. Orr,
Aye.
Miss Peterson,
Aye.
Miss Salaji,
Aye.
chair votes aye, motion passes. All right, next item is item number 6, consideration of resolution 2020-115, a resolution requesting a referendum for the annexation of several properties located south of Long Lane, east of Interstate 65, and outside of the southeastern part of the Franklin urban growth boundary by the city of Franklin, Tennessee. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In May 2018, a special work session was held to present and discuss annexation and growth priorities in the city. 2 drainage basins were identified as having short-term capability for annexation, the West Basin and the Goose Creek Basin. Additionally, the potential land uses that would be planned within the Goose Creek Basin would likely be a combination of commercial, office, and residential due to the property's proximity to I-65 and major corridor extensions such as Carruthers Parkway. A copy of the presentation for 2018 is attached, I do believe. The city has received annexation requests for 9 properties in the Goose Creek Basin that are located outside the UGB. A map of properties is attached. Annexation for the subject properties cannot occur until a referendum has been held, where the property owners requesting annexation vote to have their property annexed by the city of Franklin. This resolution authorizes the request to Williamson County Election Commission to hold a referendum on November 3rd in conjunction with the state general election. Staff recommends approval of Resolution 2020-115 for the referendum for the annexation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there someone in the audience? Is there anybody in the public that would like to comment?
We don't have any callers.
Thank you. All right. Is there someone representing the applicant?
Again, I filed application on behalf of the residents. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. Then I will entertain a motion from the commission.
Move for approval.
Second.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Us, Jenny.
Jenny, okay, thank you. So Ms. Allen made the motion, Ms. Szilagyi seconded. Proper motion. Any discussion?
And it is a motion to recommend to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen.
Correct. Any other discussion, comments? All right, we ready to vote? Okay, Miss Allen,
Aye.
Mr. Franks,
Aye.
Mr. Harrison is absent, Mr. Lindsay,
Aye.
Ms. McLemore,
Aye.
Mr. Orr,
Aye.
Ms. Peterson,
Aye.
Ms. Szilagyi,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion passes. Item number 7, consideration of ordinance 2020-20, an ordinance to zone 340 acres, estate residential ER for several properties located south of Long Lane and east of Interstate 65. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This ordinance would zone the 9 properties being considered as part of the proposed referendum for annexation to state residential based zoning district should the Board of Mayor and Aldermen decide to hold a referendum and should the referendum pass. If the referendum passes, the annexation would become effective 30 days after the certification of the election. The ordinance to zone ER is drafted to be contingent upon certification, which I just said. The parcels identified within this request are not identified within the envisioned Franklin land use plan, as they are outside the urban growth boundary. As the decision to annex these parcels is regulated by a proposed referendum, it is appropriate to prepare a zoning district for the parcels should the referendum pass. Staff feels that the zoning district assigned to these parcels should be as close to their current entitlements of the Williamson County zoning as possible. The current zoning within the county is Rural Development 1, RD1. It protects the rural character of Williamson County east of I-65, but also allows for low density residential development where appropriate infrastructure is available. This district is also intended to support agricultural uses that are more prevalent in the eastern areas of the county. In comparison, estate residential provides for very low density detached residential development on large lots, but also permits agricultural uses. Since these parcels lie outside of the UGB, the Planning Commission will need to amend Envision Franklin to include these parcels in the document, including assigning them appropriate design concepts after annexation. Future rezoning requests should then comply with the amended Envision Franklin land use plan. RD1 as a project consideration allows a maximum gross density of 1 dwelling unit per acre and a minimum lot size of 43,560 square feet. State residential allows for a maximum gross density of 1 dwelling unit per 2 acres and a minimum lot size of 45,000 square feet. Rezoning of the property to a higher intensity can be considered once Envision Franklin is amended and once a master plan for the properties is proposed to the city. So with all that in mind, the staff recommends approval of ordinance 2020-20 to the board, mayor, and alderman for zoning to ER. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Do we have any public comments?
We do have one caller on the line. Caller, you have been unmuted. Do you have a comment on this item?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Do you have a comment on this item?
No, ma'am. But we
Thank-
do have on items 7 and 8.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, this is item number 7.
Hello. Good afternoon. Our comments relate to the rezoning of the Oak Meadow properties for 245 multifamily units and some commercial development contained therein. Our comments relate to the unlimited amount of parking on Oak Meadows Drive as part of this development, number 1. Number 2, the unreasonable impact on the intersection of I-65 and Highway 96 as a result of the development of this property, as well as the apartments on Oak Meadows near the apartment. I don't believe the apartments on Oak Meadow has ever been taken into consideration in the traffic studies. As well as the apartments on Oak Meadows near the apartment. I don't believe the I'm sorry, I think that's about it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Wait a second, my wife's got another comment.
Okay.
My name is Kathy Cullen, and I would like to ask, I know that you recently enacted a development plan called the Town and Country that restricts property owners from subdividing their land into smaller parcels due to density and infrastructure needs. I only ask that you apply the same logic to this developer who wants to place 245 units and get it rezoned to do so in an area that is so highly congested already. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate the comments. Any other public comments?
That was the only caller.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, may I say
Yes.
something? Just so everyone's aware, I think you realize that those comments were for the Vintage Watson Glen project, which is number 8 and number 9 on tonight's agenda. So just keep that in mind when we get to those items. And if they'd like to make additional comment at that time, we'll certainly allow that.
No, that's a great point. All right, is there someone representing the applicant?
I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, all right. Do I have a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
All right, if I understood right, Ms. McLemore, you made the motion, Michael, or you seconded. All right, proper motion. Is there, are we ready for a vote, or is there any discussion? All right, then I think we're ready to vote. Ms. Allen,
Aye.
Mr. Franks,
Aye.
Mr. Harrison is absent, Mr. Lindsay,
Aye.
Ms. McLemore,
Aye.
Mr. Orr,
Aye.
Ms. Peterson,
Aye.
Ms. Szilagyi.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Item number 8, consideration of ordinance 2020-10, an ordinance to rezone 21.24 acres from regional commercial RC6 and general office to planned development PD 11.35/12,320 district for the property located south of Oak Meadow Drive and east of South Royal Oaks Boulevard, called the Vintage at Watson Glen PUD subdivision. Staff?
Thank you, Chairman. This rezoning came before the May 28th meeting of the Planning Commission. but they had failed to properly notify residents in the surrounding area. So per the zoning requirements, this had been placed on an agenda for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. They voted unanimously to send it back to the Planning Commission so that the applicant could send out the required notification. So you all have seen this before. The applicant is requesting to rezone the property from regional commercial and general office to a planned district to accommodate the proposed development plan for Vintage at Watson Glen. The development plan has been submitted concurrently with this. Envision Franklin places this property in neighborhood mixed use design concept, and the planned development district is an appropriate based zone for that design concept.
Okay, thank you. Are there anyone, any public comment?
There's no one in the line at this time. Just remember those last comments that were made previously.
Yes. Okay. Is there someone representing the applicant?
Yes, hi, Greg Gamble. And I do have my presentation. I want to apologize. During our stay-at-home order, we thought we had dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's, and we made a mistake. And so as soon as we found out, we notified planning staff and requested to revisit Planning Commission. And so that's why we're here tonight. And I do apologize. But I do have the presentation from last couple months ago. And if you would like, I can run back through the presentation to refresh everyone's memory. I'm sure there are a few people that are maybe watching online that received notification that would like to see the update on our plan. So I'm happy to do that.
Sure, go ahead.
Emily, have you given me? Yes, you did. Thank you so much. So this proposed development plan is a joint venture between Bob Goodall, Warner Bass, and TDK. It's one of the very last phases of the Watson Glen subdivision, which was started in the late 1990s. Envision Franklin identifies this property as neighborhood mixed use policy and is a transitional area between regional commerce to the north and single family policy to the south. You'll also see other areas within the immediate vicinity where multifamily residential is transitioning between the regional commerce area and the adjacent single family neighborhoods. The proposed mixed use development is complementary to the existing development along Oak Meadow and Royal Oaks. The area located along I-65 here is currently not included in this rezoning request. It's currently zoned RC6, but I will tell you that we have submitted Riverside Drive extension to the planning staff and engineering staff. So it is currently under review, and we would like to start the construction of that as soon as it is approved. The portion that we are requesting rezoning on is here just south of Oak Meadow Drive, just south of Summerby. We have two restaurants that are proposed at the intersection of Royal Oaks and Oak Meadow Drive. Both restaurants are one story, and in keeping with the scale of the buildings that are on the other three corners of this intersection. These restaurants total 7,900 square feet. The restaurant here that anchors the corner will have an outdoor patio, and it will be more pedestrian oriented, more of a sit-down restaurant. The restaurant that is a little bit further south would be more of a fast food, casual dining style restaurant. So really giving some options and some variety there. Summerby is predominantly 4 stories. And the proposed 3-story buildings across Oak Meadow will transition the building height to the south. The parking areas proposed are located behind the buildings and are screened from view by the buildings and the preservation of existing trees within the proposed 10 acres along Watson's Branch. We're proposing a 10.6 acre park that will be a community park open to all residents of Franklin with a public access easement on it. This park will be to preserve the existing tree canopy, the open space that is alongside Watson's Branch, but also provide pedestrian access and walkability within this area. We have reduced the total number of apartments in our recent submittal to 241 and have approximately 9,500 square feet of non-residential on the ground level. The first three buildings here, closest to Royal Oaks, are planned to have activated first floor, including office, fitness, and residence club. The office areas within the mixed-use buildings are not specifically designated for residents. They are office spaces that can be leased by any business. Residents located on the ground floor will have stoops, porches, and direct access to the sidewalks on Oak Meadow Drive. The sidewalks are interconnected throughout the master plan and will provide a connection to the new park and the commercial businesses to the north. We understand that this development will have an impact on traffic flow on Royal Oaks and Murfreesboro Road. As presented in the joint conceptual workshop, the arterial road impact fees are estimated at approximately $850,000 and are proposed to be used to improve the intersection of Royal Oaks and address signal timing of Murfreesboro Road. That $850,000 is just the mixed-use development. There's an additional $900,000 of arterial road impact fees that would be generated by the office area. There are multiple improvements that are required for the arterial roads, Royal Oaks, all the way to I-65. The mixed-use development that you're reviewing tonight will be responsible for 100% of the improvements that are tied to capacity. When we did the traffic analysis and the traffic study for this, our analysis included not only the residential, restaurant, office in the mixed use, but also 195,000 square feet of office that would be located in the future behind Home Depot. All of those traffic impacts, all 100% of that traffic impact was included in our traffic study. 100% of the capacity improvements that we'll discuss tonight are tied to the mixed use. There is a safety consideration that we've been asked to study by city staff and by the third-party traffic engineer. And that study is to look at the addition of a 5-foot median that would go from Royal Oaks to I-65. Within this stretch of road, between 2017 and 2019, there were 105 total crashes. 95 of those were property damage. Thankfully, there have been no incapacitating injuries or fatalities. But just in this stretch of road, it's 3.38 times the state average for 4 lanes or more. This safety consideration is going to require more analysis. It is going to require more study. We have begun discussions regarding interconnectivity of these businesses. We've had at least one meeting where we've engaged those business owners to talk to them about this safety consideration. The next step is to start analyzing this further to look at how these parcels could be interconnected with secondary accesses off of Royal Oaks Boulevard or from one of the roads further to the north. Same coming in off of Riverside Drive to the south for the businesses that are along this edge. When we started our traffic analysis, we looked at these major intersections. Each one of these were studied. The traffic counts were counted prior to COVID and while school was still in session, so we know that we were using very good data. I would like to point out that the previous proposed apartments on this property also submitted a traffic report. That traffic report did not propose road improvements, and it noted that the roadways were sufficient to accept the additional traffic. That's simply not the case. This proposal is an excellent example of how development can make improvements for growth, leaving the roads better in the future than they are now. These are the current peak hour scores of the intersections along Royal Oaks and at I-65 in the morning at the morning peak hour, but not today's peak hour, the peak hour 5 years from now. So we are already anticipating normal growth pattern in Franklin, even if our development did not occur. So this is projected from 5 years out. This is projected 5 years out as well, showing that we will ultimately end up with a failing intersection at I-65 here at Murfreesboro Road. We are proposing several solutions to counter the traffic volumes that we're adding to the infrastructure. And one of the first things that our traffic engineers realized is that the timing of the signals at both of these locations can greatly improve the pass-through volumes at these intersections. On Royal Oaks, today there are 2 turn lanes that turn toward I-65. They stop about right here in front of Einstein's Bagels. We're going to be extending that turn lane all the way down to the bank, and we're going to be adding a 3rd right turn lane toward I-65. One aspect of the traffic study that was determined was that we have currently 2 left-bound turn lanes toward downtown Franklin today, and there's just simply not the traffic volume necessary for 2 turn lanes because people are finding other ways. They're going toward Mac Hatcher and then up Mac Hatcher to turn left to go toward downtown, but this will be reduced to only 1 left-bound turn lane. We'll still have 2 lanes going directly north to North Royal Oaks. These are 2 failing intersections now. One, the intersection in front of Aldi and the intersection in front of Rand Place. We're proposing to remove the intersection of Rand Place to prevent cross traffic and create a safer intersection. Here in front of Aldi, we're proposing a left-in only. If you're up next to Whole Foods on Royal Oaks, there is a left-in only as well there for comparison. So what do these improvements mean when we look at them holistically? Again, this column here shows you the 2019 existing traffic scores for these intersections. What we showed you was the 2024 with the additional normal growth of Franklin traffic. With the improvements that we're making, we are not only adding the traffic of the mixed-use development and adding the traffic of the office development, but we're able to reduce the time delays at these intersections significantly with the improvements that we're proposing. And again, these improvements that you're reviewing here are the capacity improvements and not the safety improvement on Highway 96 development. But we're able, sorry, I got some feedback. This is the PM traffic delay. Again, with existing normal growth pattern in 2024, you see that we start to see failing intersections, and with the improvements that we're proposing to make, we are remedying those improvements. And again, we will have a failing intersection here at I-65, but we're reducing the time delay at that intersection. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion?
Yeah.
Move for approval to the board, mayor and alderman.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Orr motioned and Mr. Frank seconded. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, I will take the roll call vote. Ms. Allen?
My name is Robert.
Ms. Allen?
Okay, as I did before and I stated before, I'm voting no.
Voting no, okay. Thank you. Mr. Franks?
Yes.
Mr. Harrison is absent. Mr. Lindsay?
Yes.
Ms. McLemore?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Ms. Salaji?
Yes.
And chair votes yes, motion passes. All right, item number 9, consideration of resolution 2020-47, a resolution approving a development plan for Vintage at Watson Glen PUD subdivision for the property located south of Oak Meadow Drive and east of South Royal Oaks Boulevard. Staff?
Thank you, Chairman. Envision Franklin places this property in the neighborhood mixed-use design concept. Neighborhood mixed-use design concept provides a diverse mix of high-activity uses with a connected and walkable layout. These centers and corridors should have a coordinated development pattern at a pedestrian scale with high-quality architecture, plazas, sidewalks, and pedestrian and bicycle amenities that activate the street and connect the gathering places to the residential neighborhoods they support. The proposed development does meet these goals of the design concept. It has an active commercial corner and the first floor of commercial in buildings 1, 2, and 3 with multifamily residential units above. The project creates a walkable character both along the sidewalk at Oak Meadow and internally from the multifamily to the restaurant area. There is a large natural area that will be developed with trails and offer a buffer between this development and the existing neighborhood. Existing and future transit routes were discussed with Franklin Transit, and a decision was made that they do not need a transit stop at this time. That's it.
Okay, thank you. All right, are there any public comments?
Sure. A caller on the phone. This is the time to make public comments. Do you have any comments on this item?
Are there any public comments?
Yes, there is.
I'm not sure. I think he's a little delayed. Let me see if I can unmute him again and give him a chance to talk. Sir, did you have a comment to make?
Yes, ma'am, I do. My name is Robert Cullen at 425 Valley View Drive, Creekstone. And I'd like to point out that the developer failed to recognize the imminent delivery of 100+ units next to the U.S. Post Office and how it will impact the traffic studies, which never considered such a development in their approach to traffic studies. The intersection of I-65 and Highway 96 is already labeled a F, which is the worst designation you can apply. Adding to this, the apartments next to the post office, this makes an untenable situation, and the developer has admitted that he's not going to face this intersection problem until he focuses on the sale of the tract behind Home Depot. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comments?
That was our only caller.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, is there someone representing the applicant?
I'm Greg Gamble, and happy to answer any questions that you may have. Again, through this process, we've had over 8 neighborhood meetings. We've had many very positive comments about reinvestment within the Royal Oaks corridor. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
All right. Do I have a motion from the commission?
Motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second? Michael, was that you?
Yes.
Okay, motion by Mr. Franks, seconded by Mr. Orr. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, are we ready to vote? All right, then Ms. Allen?
I'm remaining consistent with my previous vote on the same item, no.
Okay, Mr. Franks?
Yes.
Mr. Harrison is absent. Mr. Lindsay?
Yes.
Ms. McLemore?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Ms. Szilagyi?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion passes. Item number 10, consideration of ordinance 2019-57, an ordinance to rezone 1,520.03 acres from PD 1.8 / 500,000 district and detached residential 1 R1 district to planned development, planned district 2.31 / 2,500 or 25,000 square feet for the property located south of Highway 96 and west of Boyd Mill Pike, West Haven PUD subdivision. Staff?
Thank you, Chairman. This applicant has asked that we defer both this and the resolution. They are still working with the residents on going through this revision and coming with agreements on what they want to do out there.
Okay, then is it appropriate, staff, if we do these items at one time together? No, we have to do them separately? Okay. All right, then item number 10, is there any public comment on this item?
We don't have any callers on the line.
Okay, then does the applicant want to say anything before we? Does the applicant or their dogs want to say anything?
For the record, that was not the applicant barking. No, Mr. Chairman, we request deferral. We are still having community meetings and working with our residents to come to good resolution. We hope to be here in August.
Okay, thank you. All right, then I'll entertain a motion from the commission.
Move for deferral to the, do we need to say to the August meeting, to the August Planning Commission meeting?
Okay.
Second.
Second.
All right, we'll let that be Miss Allen making the motion and Miss McLemore seconding. Any discussion? Okay, we're ready to vote. Miss Allen?
Aye.
Mr. Franks?
Aye.
Mr. Harrison is absent. Mr. Lindsay?
Aye.
Miss McLemore?
Aye.
Mr. Orr? I didn't get that. Michael, do you?
Aye.
Yeah, thank you. Miss Peterson?
Aye.
Miss Szilagyi?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Item number 11, consideration of resolution 2019-130, a resolution approving a revised development plan for the West Haven PUD subdivision for the property located south of Highway 96 West and west of Boyd Mill Pike. Staff?
Again, the applicant has asked that we defer this.
Okay. All right. Is there any public comment on this item?
We have no callers on the line.
Okay. All right. Does the applicant want to speak on this?
No further comment, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Then I will entertain a motion.
I'll
Move for deferral till August meeting.
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Lindsay made the motion and Ms. McLemore seconded. Any discussion? All right. Hearing none, we will proceed to vote. Miss Allen?
Aye.
Mr. Franks?
Aye.
Mr. Harrison is absent. Mr. Lindsay?
Aye.
Miss McLemore?
Aye.
Mr. Orr?
Aye.
Miss Peterson?
Aye.
Miss Szilagyi?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Motion passes. All right. Any other discussion before we adjourn? Okay, hearing none, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Sarah, second.
Second.
I'll give that to Miss McLemore. Miss Allen?
Oops, oops, hold up. Aye.
What was that?
I was hitting the button. I hit the button. I'm sorry. Aye.
Yeah, I didn't recognize any of those words before you said aye. All right, Mr. Franks.
Aye.
Mr. Harrison is absent. Mr. Lindsay,
Aye.
Ms. McLemore,
Aye.
Mr. Orr,
Aye.
Ms. Peterson,
Aye.
Ms. Salaji.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We are adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy your
Thank you.
evening.
Chairman.
Diana, we wish you the best.
Bye-bye.
Where'd she go?
Aye.